Cole. Cole. What do you think? Fist bump? Oh, well, never mind. Hey, so it's been a few days since I've been able to work on the 352. Had a lot of stuff in the yard I got to get cleaned up. I had to get my pole building cleaned up, and I had to get my shop all cleaned up. Workbench is still a mess, but everything else is actually clean. Floor is super clean. Cleanest it's been in a long time. So we're still waiting for the top shifter for the overdrive overdrive direct shifter to come in. That's I should have just went to the dealership and bought that, because now they keep pushing back the ship date. So got the sandblaster lined up. He's going to come later this week on Thursday, and he's going to sandblast the frame of the truck and everything like that. I didn't go with the guy that I thought I was going to. He really didn't seem too interested in doing it. So I talked to a buddy of mine and called up this other guy that does it on site, which is even better because I'll be able to pull the tanks off and put them right back on when he's done, basically. So I'll still be able to move the truck around. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this tank over here. Passenger side tank here is super dented on the front, and it's dented on the front, so it's going to be I think it's going to be a new tank on this side. By the time I have somebody cut it apart and try to pound it out or put a new cap on it, I could probably just spend $450, $500, $600 to get a new tank and go from there. But I'll be able to pull the straps off and pull all the rubbers off and everything like that when I do that. Nice. The straps loosened up. They're not bound, or not gonna. The bolts aren't too corroded, so should be able to get those off. So I got about, I don't know, I probably got maybe 10-20 gallons in this tank, and I think I got about 40 or 50 gallons on the other tank. So I need to get those tanks empty if I'm going to take them off of here. We'll see if maybe I can find somebody that can polish these for me and go from there. This step here, these steps are nice. This one's a little bent here, but I think I can straighten that one out just fine. And otherwise, the other side's really nice. So I think I'll pop the two tanks off. I'll pop this battery box cover off, get that straightened out a little bit, see what I can do with that. And really, that I have a headache rack too. I should go show you that. We can get that in, and or we can get that in and see if we can get somebody to polish them. So, okay, like I said, I'm going to try to get the exhaust out of the way here. I'm not going to be using these brackets, so I'm going to take those brackets off so all that can get sandblasted underneath there. Also going to try to take the air cleaner off here. What I'm going to try to do, I had mentioned it in previous videos, I'm going to try to use like a 379 Donaldson type air cleaner, 15-inch air cleaner. I got a buddy that has one off of Kenworth actually that I think I'm going to try to use. Try to get all the straps and brackets and everything from them. But it's got a front exit on it. Similar, I mean, they're very similar to these. Wish I had the cab up right now. I'll tilt the cab up and I'll talk about it here in a minute. So going back to the air cleaner, like I said, I wanted to use a 379 type air cleaner, which I think is the same air cleaner. It's just got a different top on it. I mean, obviously the outlet comes out the front on it, just kind of like a 379 air cleaner. The problem is the 379 air cleaner has a flange that comes up here, and then it has a lip that's rolled out on the top. So I'm going to have to do a little machining there to figure that out. But once I figure that out, I think I can just take the top lid off, the screen off, and then just use a 379 air cleaner the same way this one's on there. I don't think it's any different, to be honest with you. It probably is, because I'm usually wrong, but once I get that done, I'll put that on Get the boots all cleaned up, and probably put a piece of chrome pipe in there, a little chunk of chrome pipe in there, and go from there. Once the frame's all blasted and painted and everything like that, get that mounted up there, and that should shine pretty good. Along with these, probably get a new tank on this side. I noticed that this step is kind of bent up too, but maybe I can straighten that one, hammer that stuff straight. Hopefully, we'll see. Once I do. There's a lot of mud on it because I was stuck in one of the frost heaves in our yard. So I ended up getting it all up the cab and everything like that. The power divider wasn't going in for me, so that's another thing that the guys are gonna have to look at when they're doing the airlines. Well, I was trying to move that exhaust pipe out of the way, and you can see what's left of the muffler. Nothing, really. So I'm gonna run her straight for a little bit until we get the other exhaust on it. It's still gonna be straight after that too, but it's gonna be through duals. Gonna be stacks that are sticking above the cab. But for now, I'm just gonna have to get some extensions that run straight out the back, just so I don't gas out the cab. So. Well, I got the air cleaner off. Got one of the tank straps off. The reason, no matter what, I'm going to end up at least changing the tank straps out. I got to thinking, these things sure take a beating from all the rocks and everything off the rear tire. I thought about maybe adding a mud flap. You got something to say?
I'm sweeping and my box doesn't have the tape, so my hair's soaked up and I'm grooming. So,
Are you the reason the shop is so clean?
yes.
Awesome.
I'm
Yeah. Need to adjust the garage door a little bit so it goes down all the way, don't I? Okay, so like I was saying, thinking about might put a mud flap on the back to try to stop some of that, but I think what I'm going to do when the sandblaster's out here, I'm going to have them sandblast this thing as well, and I'll probably paint it body color when I do the body, but I still want to do a chrome 379 type air cleaner, or 359, 379 type air cleaner, or W900, or whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I have access to one off of W900 Kenworth that it's the same air cleaner. It's stamped Kenworth, but the Kenworth will be stamped on the inside and it won't be seen. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. I got the everything off here. I noticed that when I took everything off, what appears to be the solenoid for the air clutch on the fan was hanging down here and not attached to anything. So I'm going to try to find a place to get that attached. I got to figure out something temporarily for a air cleaner, or at least something to keep the sand and everything out of the turbo and the intake and everything when they're sandblasting. Probably going to try to cover everything as best I can. Kind of, I don't know, just not digging that bracket for that cab jack, but I don't know if there's anything else I can do really. So I'm going to pop the rest of the exhaust off, get that bracket out of the way. I'm going to bring in a chemical tote here, and I'm going to pump the old crappy fuel out of this tank and throw it in the tote. And really the frame should be, other than, you know, wrapping some stuff up here and trying to keep it out of the way. I'll probably take the bumper off too, I suppose. It should be ready for blasting. I mean, there really shouldn't be anything in the way here. So use this 12-volt pump here. We don't get down to the bottom of the tank. I'm going to wire the hose here to the bottom of the stick so I can make sure to get down to the lowest part of the tank, and then once I can do that, all I'll have to do is pull the plug out of the bottom and drain the glass and get out of there. Not completed yet. Pretty old fuel in there. Well, got all the fuel sucked out of there. It's actually sucked it down pretty well. I bet you there's not even half-gallon fuel in there right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and start popping these straps off. Jack under there and pop the straps off. Put the center and put the line on the bottom, and we should be good to go. Okay, so I'm having a little trouble. This screw here. Here, I'll pull you off of here. This screw here that grounds out the sending unit. It's seized in there really good, and I can't get a screwdriver on there tight enough to, or doesn't fit in there tight enough, and it's going to start rounding. I can just feel it. So I'm not sure. A lot of people here probably do know about these. Some people probably don't, but this is called this early edition of an impact driver. Most people think of like a DeWalt, like a impact wrench here, like that. But what this does is it allows you to provide kind of an impact down as it turns. When you hammer it down, it has a little cam in there, and it turns the bottom of the screwdriver like that. So if you tighten it up this way, and the more you push down, it's going to push a force down that's going to keep it in the screw, but it's also going to turn the screw out at the same time. So you hit it with a hammer. And that's usually just enough to get it out, get it started and get it out, and that's what it took. Tool lesson of the day, an impact screwdriver. Like I said, I'm sorry for the people that know what it is, but I know darn well there's some people out there that don't know what it is. So. Okay, so a lot of people in comments, I posted on a couple Cabover sites and 352 sites, and I asked some suggestions about whether or not people thought I could get these dents out, and I wasn't real optimistic right away because this dent is right on the radius. Anytime you have a dent on a radius like this, it's not going to, you're gonna have a real tough time getting it out. Plus there's some gouges and scrapes, plus they're also on the welds. So anytime you start moving metal around, especially aluminum, around welds like that, you're really gonna lose a lot of structural integrity. So there's a couple people on there saying, you know, spend your moldy money, go ahead and buy new tanks and just be done with it, or basically buy new tanks. I appreciated all the other suggestions. A lot of people said, you know, bring it to a machine shop, have them cut it, and you can pound out the dents and then weld it back on. I think that's a good idea. However, I think trying to shape this back to normal on the cap is going to be super hard. I just don't think it can be done. You know, a lot of other people also suggested buying a used tank. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. The problem is, when you buy a used tank, try to find another one with this, you know, the same size fill hole and with the straps in the same spot, because obviously the straps are in the same location on the truck, and then once you take those straps off, you got all this crud on there, and every tank gets it. You know, it's all going to have all this oxidation and stuff where all the crap laid underneath the straps and everything like that. So my biggest thing is, I'm sure this is probably a common measurement, especially on the 100-gallon tanks like this, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough. I'm willing to admit when I don't know something. So it might be a common measurement, might not be, but it's a 26 by 48 tank. It's a fairly common tank. However, getting one with the center fill, or it's a little bit off center, I guess, might be a little hard to find, but I'll try to find one. Problem is they're also 450 bucks, 500 bucks. So it's a lot of money to, I mean, I'm trying to do this kind of on a budget, but I'm trying to kind of do it right too. So, I mean, I'm putting a lot of my own labor, and that's where I'm saving money. But that's probably what I'm going to end up having to do, is find a used tank. Unless I can find somebody that can work that out or cut it and re-weld it, I mean, I'd be fine with that. But it's going to be, once I start grinding this down, there's going to be a lot of pitting, a lot of oxidation. And that's always going to show up when it's polished, you know what I mean? So hopefully, if I do find a new tank, those straps are in the same location and they can be covered up by the straps. And if not, what I might end up doing is buying wider straps for it. But those things ain't cheap either. So, you know, time and money makes the world go round, you know what I mean? And these things are garbage, obviously. I mean, we knew we weren't going to reuse those, but yeah, passenger side tank's off. I'm going to try to leave the driver side tank on it for a few days here at least. But boy, look at how much room that makes for the sandblast guy. I mean, he can come straight back here, all along this frame, all along the suspension. Have all the room in the world here, and move up all the way up to the passenger side, up around here. The only thing you got to start worrying about is the hydraulic lines here for the cab jack, and obviously this line for the air operated fan or air clutch on the fan. But other than that, there's really nothing up until you get up here, and there's maybe some heater lines and some power steering line. No, it's not power steering line. This truck doesn't have power steering. Oh, it's air conditioning line. There's a air conditioning stuff up there. Other than that, there's really nothing to worry about over on this side. And even if there was, the paint up here is super smooth. All I'd have to really do is rough this paint up, and I could just paint right over it again. I mean, the problem with doing that is you're worrying about how good is the paint, how good is it stuck in the frame, because, you know, your paint is only as good as what's underneath. So, but yeah, we'll get this all figured out here, and yeah, I'm kind of excited. Yeah, here's another thing I noticed is there's supposed to be some rubber pads mounted in the perches here for the cab. That would probably explain some of my banging that's going on. So I'm going to try to figure that out, try to figure out how to put some new rubbers in there. Trying to look and see, it almost looks like there might, I can't tell if those are wear marks from these rivets or if there was rubber mounted to that side too, to the cab side too, or not. But we'll see. We'll figure it out. I'm sure somebody that knows 352s can probably tell me that. Is there supposed to be rubber mounted to the cab side of the perches there? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, or shoot me an email, or check out my Facebook or Instagram. Let me know. I think this is going to be done for the night. I've got enough footage. I don't want to bore you guys. I'd like to try to make like 9 to 10 minute videos, just because I know sometimes it gets tough watching longer videos, but it's amazing how much footage you actually attain when you start working for a couple hours. I try to speed up a lot of the work flow and all that kind of stuff, but it really you end up with a lot of footage. So sometimes some videos have a lot of lot of like wrenching action, and some of it has a lot of me talking, or it has a lot of me moving around and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to meter that out, but I'm trying to make it so it's actually entertaining, or at least worthy to watch. So just know I'm trying, guys. If you've got any comments or anything like that, leave them down below. Go ahead, and what really helps me is if you subscribe. That helps me gain more viewers and everything like that. YouTube sees that and helps drive more people my way. Also the comments, if people start commenting, that really goes a long way with them. So hit the comment button, leave your comments, good, bad, or ugly. Let's do this here. Whoosh. Way better than Keystone. Anyways, leave your comments. I want to hear what you got to say, and let me know. Check out my Instagram page. I'll link it in the comments there, and Facebook page. All that stuff will be linked. I appreciate you guys watching. It's going to be more to come. I'm going to be here a couple days from now. We're going to be sandblasting this, so I'm going to chronicle all that. I'm going to show all that, and I'm also going to try to find a polisher to do this, because obviously I didn't do a very good job at all. I left a lot of polishing compound on there, and I don't know how to get it off other than sanding, and I don't know, maybe I can polish it off. I don't know. I'm sure you guys out there know. So if you like what you're seeing, let me know. Talk to you guys later. Bye.